In a world where mutated plants rule and survival is a daily fight, young Vesper stumbles on a secret that could save humanity if ruthless leaders and a dying Earth don't crush her first. Welcome to Film Breakdown Hub. Today we dive into Vesper 2022. A stunning sci-fi tale of courage, betrayal, and hope. Let's get into it. A bowl of mushu is a living tiger. Then sprinkle a few breadworms. It's what girls dream of. Breadworms are raised by girls. And mushu is what Vesper found in the swamp. It's not easy to get it. This is 100 years after the loss of genetic technology. All the plants on Earth have mutated. Farming has lost its ability to reproduce. The Earth has become a wasteland. Instead, the harmful species grow up at will. Trees grow out of the beating heart. Grass also becomes the insect that bites people. It's a pity that they can not only be used, but also make the survival environment more dangerous. However, it is not harmful plants that destroy humans, but their selfishness. The privileged class has built a city for themselves, the Citadel. They took all the resources and seeds and isolated the rest of the people outside. The nomads can only endure hunger and starvation, and Vesper is one of them. She was lucky to find a mutated mushu that day. As soon as she got home, she quickly made starch. She fed her paralyzed father, Darius, who couldn't speak. Fortunately, Darius's consciousness can be synchronized to the drone. Every time she goes out, she is with him. That's why Vesper is not so lonely, and her happiest time every day is when she is with Darius. She fantasizes that one day the two of them can move to Weiching School. I heard that it still maintains the appearance of the past of the Earth. In order to realize this dream, Vesper has been conducting genetic modification experiments. She wants to change her destiny through talent. Darius can't bear to break the dream of his daughter, so he can only stay with her in seclusion. Unexpectedly, an accident is about to happen. That day, Vesper went out of the secret room as usual. She met a wanderer outside. That's a strange disease in the end of the day. The patient will leave the crowd and drift around. There is useless garbage everywhere. Every time she sees them, Vesper will observe for a long time. Because many years ago, her mother also became a wanderer. But she only stayed outside for a while. Then Darius got sick. Seeing that life is in danger, Vesper can only ask Jonas for help. Unexpectedly, as soon as she entered the village, she saw a bloody scene. The least valuable thing in the future is human life, and the most valuable thing is these small seeds, because you have to use the blood of 10 children to exchange for a seed of crops. And it's more valuable than human life. It's these ugly, raw people. Their IQ is low and they can't get old. It's designed to be used as livestock. Seeing that the raw people have been seriously injured, Jonas let a boy finish him off. Although the raw people keep begging, the boy dares not disobey orders and can only be cruel. One knife stabs the neck of the raw people. Even the adults feel cruel in this scene. But the children who can be seen are a little numb. It's because they're all blood bags raised by Jonas. They've been oppressed to no end. The only girl in front of me is an exception. Because she doesn't want to be a blood bag, she and Darius have been living outside the village. How did she know that Darius was seriously ill? She had no choice but to sell her blood to exchange for medicine. Unexpectedly, after the deal was made, Jonas came up with another idea. The girl not only has blood, but also a uterus. She can reproduce more children. So Jonas persuaded Vesper to move back to the village. How did he know that she was rejected by Vesper? This made Jonas turn his face on the spot. He didn't have to drive her out directly, but Darius was still in danger. Vesper had no choice but to sneak into the warehouse. After stealing a bottle of medicine, she also took a bag of seeds. Seeing that Darius was stable after taking the medicine, Vesper took out the seeds she had stolen. She thought that once her experiment was successful, she could move in with Darius, but she didn't get any praise. She was scolded by Darius. He ordered her to send the seeds back immediately. Otherwise, Jonas would find the consequences unimaginable. Vesper ran into the woods in anger. She happened to see a ship moving towards the Citadel. Out of curiosity, she walked towards the scene. She soon saw a girl who had fainted on the ground. At this time, she was choked by the blood-sucking plant. She found that the girl was still breathing. Vesper quickly helped her pull the blood-sucking plant away. Then she took her home and carefully cleaned the residue in her wound. The girl's gorgeous clothes showed that her status in the Citadel was extraordinary. Maybe she could help her realize her dream. But Darius thought that the other party was suspicious. He persuaded Vesper not to be nosy. In the middle of the argument, the girl woke up. The first thing she said was to beg Vesper to save her father, because she was also there when the ship crashed. The girl said that her father was a big figure in the Citadel. She was sure to repay them heavily. This made Vesper even more hopeful. She immediately entered the woods to look for him again. Following the scattered debris, she soon found the crashed ship. It turned out that the girl's father was still trapped inside. Vesper wanted to open the cabin door first, but she couldn't do it. At this time, Jonas found the ship with his men. Vesper had to hand over the credit to him. Unexpectedly, Jonas not only didn't save him, but also covered the old man's mouth with his hands. Vesper, Vesper, Vesper. It turned out that he had long hated the people of the Citadel. He happened to kill the old man to vent his dissatisfaction. He hoped to destroy Vesper's hope, but his reaction attracted Jonas's attention. Combined with the blue cloth found on the ground, he suddenly suspected that there was a second person in the ship and had a connection with Vesper. Fortunately, Darius made an excuse to fool him. After returning home, he was afraid that the girl would be angry with him. Vesper could only lie that she didn't find the person. To make up for her mistake, she took the girl, Camellia, to a secret garden. Some plants were genetically modified. Some dandelions would act cute with people. Some lanterns could emit brilliant light. It made Camellia happy, and she forgot her sorrow. That night, she shared her life in the Citadel with Vesper, especially the earth animals that she had never seen. Unknowingly, the two became good friends. So Vesper couldn't bear to lie to Camellia again, so she told her about Darius's death. When she saw the body that was soaked white, Camellia was so sad that she jumped into the water. She wanted to die with her father. Fortunately, Vesper forcibly pulled her ashore. Suddenly, she saw a scar behind Camellia's neck. She couldn't help but put her finger near it. Immediately, innumerable thorns came out. Vesper realized that Camellia was a biological person. This was completely beyond her cognition, because she had never seen such a biological person as humans. Camellia said that she was the first high-intelligence product. The dead father was her creator and her master. But the Citadel didn't allow a high-intelligence biological person to exist. So they escaped on a spaceship. Realizing that Camellia had been deceiving and using herself, Vesper was furious. She wanted to push Camellia into the water. Then she came back to Darius depressedly. She regretted not listening to him. Darius advised her not to be too harsh on Camellia. Protecting the master was just a biological person setting. However, before Vesper could deal with it, Camellia was ready to end her life. Because losing the master also means losing the meaning of existence. She only saw her pulling her hair away and pointing the dagger at the scar behind her neck. That was the weakest point of the biological person. But she finally had enough courage. The first dagger was aimed at the wrong place. Hearing the sound, Vesper immediately rushed up to kick the dagger away. Seeing that Camellia wanted to continue to commit suicide, she simply pressed her down. Seeing the other party crying to death, Vesper finally realized that although Camellia was not a real person, her feelings were real. She was even more human than many humans. So Vesper changed her mind. She persuaded Camellia to cheer up and helped her gently heal the wound. Suddenly, Vesper had a thought. She hoped to study Camellia's genes. Soon she found out that there was a gene lock in Camellia's body that was the same as the one in the seed. It was this lock that restricted the ability of the seed to reproduce, but Camellia said that it was set up by her father. She knew nothing about it. Seeing that Vesper was worried about the failure of the lock, she played the piano. Like before, she stayed with her father, who was working. Unexpectedly, the gene lock suddenly mutated. Vesper immediately found out that it was caused by a certain note played by Camellia. After observation, she asked Camellia to repeat the last note. After several mutations, the gene lock was actually opened. This discovery made Vesper excited. She hurried to take out a seed and drop the dissolved cellulose on the newly unlocked gene. The next second, the two were perfectly integrated. It turned out that the seed was deliberately choked. Vesper accidentally unlocked the gene lock inside. This means that the seed is no longer a disposable item. The fate of the poor will turn around. But before Vesper could be happy, Jonas found them. It turned out that he had discovered Vesper's secret for a long time, because after the ship crashed, he went to find clues. As a result, he found Camellia's hair in the swamp. Jonas immediately realized that there must be survivors. In order to find out the truth, he secretly installed a tracker on Vesper's drone. So he found the location of the secret laboratory. He not only took away all the seeds, but also captured Camellia. Jonas saw that the villagers were still hungry, so he immediately showed off his discovery. When the villagers saw the seeds, they were shocked. This is the key to their salvation. The crowd knelt one after another, treating Jonas as a new god. They decided to elect him as the new village leader. However, Jonas had no intention of helping them. He only wanted to sell the seeds to the Citadel and exchange them for personal wealth and status. As for the villagers, they would still be abandoned. But Jonas didn't expect that Camellia's power was beyond imagination. When Jonas showed her off to the crowd, she suddenly broke free of her restraints and attacked. The guards couldn't resist her strength and fell to the ground one by one. Seeing the situation turn chaotic, Jonas hurriedly fled with the seeds. Camellia chased after him without hesitation. Vesper also picked up her drone and followed them through the forest. Jonas, knowing he couldn't outrun them, decided to use a shortcut through the swamp. But the swamp was treacherous. One wrong step, and he sank waist deep. Seeing that he was about to lose the seeds, Jonas desperately tried to throw them onto a nearby dry patch of ground. At the critical moment, Vesper piloted her drone to intercept the bag midair. The seeds landed safely in her hands. Furious, Jonas pulled out a gun. Just as he was about to shoot Vesper, Camellia jumped onto him and pinned him down. A desperate struggle ensued. In the chaos, Jonas accidentally shot himself. Blood stained the swamp water red. Vesper watched in silence. She felt no joy at Jonas's death, only a heavy, tired sorrow. The world was too cruel. After recovering the seeds, Vesper and Camellia returned to the secret laboratory. They buried Darius properly and planted the first seed in the soil next to him. Over time, with Camelia's help, Vesper succeeded in unlocking the seed's full potential. She began growing lush fields of crops in the dead soil. The villagers, having lost Jonas, at first hesitated, but hunger soon drove them to seek Vesper's help. Vesper made a difficult decision. She would share the seeds, but under one condition: no more blood trade, no more cruelty. Everyone must work together fairly. Slowly, a new community started to form. Life returned to the wasteland. Green spread where there was once only gray. As for Camellia, she chose to stay with Vesper. They were no longer creator and creation, but true friends. Perhaps the last hope for the rebirth of humanity. Under the stars of the broken sky, Vesper looked at the small sprouts poking out of the earth, and for the first time in her life, she allowed herself to believe the future might belong to them.